everyone. This is Danielle Zanzarov. I am the Director of Holistic Health Services and founder over at South Bay Wellness Center in Sayville. And I want to speak to you today a little bit about how you can boost your immunity. So I think this is probably one of the most important things that isn't spoken about enough with all of the media and press that COVID-19 is getting today. So we have a lot of power, we have a lot of control, there are a lot of things that we can do to support our bodies. And that, I think, is the foundational basis of prevention. You know, you've got Benjamin Franklin, and he said one of the best things, right? Benjamin Franklin said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And I can tell you from dealing with clients from a natural health, preventative perspective, day in and day out, that when we put some attention on our health, not on illness, but on how to achieve health, then we really take leaps and bounds in terms of having good health. So today I want to share with you a couple of different things on how you can boost your own immunity and how you can stay well. So, you know, I know we've got all those things that are already talked about in the media, washing our hands, social distancing, all of that. But what else is it that we can be doing? So I want to walk you through 5 different things that I think are critically important. So number 1, I want you to think about what it is that you are eating. Today, more than ever, you know, you walk into the grocery store and you see the junk food is gone. People's carts are stacked with all of these packaged and processed foods. You know, the president, when he was talking yesterday, or the vice president, I don't remember who, but they were talking about how McDonald's and Pizza Hut are adding jobs. Now, while I think that is absolutely wonderful, it also raises a really huge red flag for me, because it is in this critical time that we need to focus on our health. And that means that we need to be eating for our health and our bodies in a way that is going to empower us, empower our body, give our bodies the nourishment that it needs. You know, your body is more valuable than anything else in this world, really. You know, our lives really matter. And yet we don't treat our bodies like they're the most valuable things in the world. I mean, imagine your body was, you know, the most expensive car in the world. I'm no car expert, but let's say a Ferrari. Okay, I think that's an expensive one. But imagine your body's a Ferrari. Are you going to go to the gasoline and put in the least best, the worst quality gasoline there is? Or are you going to put in the high test stuff? You are absolutely, without a doubt, going to put the high test stuff into your car, right? And that's what we need to think about, what we're putting in our bodies during this time. You know, I go to the grocery store and there's not much trouble in terms of finding food, because there is a tremendous amount of produce available on the shelves. It's like the health food stores and the healthy stuff and the healthy aisles. There's still a lot of food in those places. So I want you to think first and foremost, you know, what our bodies are made of is what we eat. We are what we eat, no kidding. And so in this time where we are in crisis, we do need to worry about our health. We are taking extra precautions. One of the first things that we need to do is pay attention to what goes into our body. What are we nourishing our body with? And so one of the first things I'd like you to do to boost your immunity is make sure that you're getting in a ton, and I mean a ton, of fruits and vegetables. It's within those fruits and vegetables that we can achieve greater levels of the antioxidants that will support our immune system. It's within those fruits and vegetables that we find the minerals that support our body's function. These are key and critical components in order to being able to stay healthy and keep our immunity strong. So I challenge you. Now you're home alone and you're snacking on stuff maybe that you wouldn't normally snack on, or maybe you're snacking excessively. I challenge you to maybe snack on vegetables or fruit instead of all the other stuff that might be stocked in your house at this moment in time. I challenge you to get in at least 7 servings of vegetables per day. Now I challenge you to add to that at least 2 servings of fruit a day. Because I promise you that if you do those things, your health in and of itself has the opportunity to transform. So use this time to your home. It's an excellent time to begin to prepare home meals, to begin to explore new recipes, explore new ways of cooking, explore new ways of preparing food. Find ways to make your vegetables fun and delicious. Don't be afraid of spices. Don't be afraid of trying new things. Don't be afraid of just cutting a pepper and eating it raw. They're delicious. Okay? So the first thing you need to think about in terms of boosting your immune system is what is it that you're putting in? So, now is not really the time for the fast food drive-in. Now is the time for you to empower your health with real, live food. Okay? So that's number 1. The number 2 thing I'd like you to think about and consider for boosting your immune system is paying attention to your gut health. We know the science is very clear that the state of our gut microbiome, is indicative of how our health is, our physical health and also our mental health. So you should be having beautiful daily 2-3 times a day soft serve ice cream bowel movements that come out with ease. You shouldn't experience heartburn or indigestion or the constipation. These things are indicators that there's stuff that's off with the gut microbiome. So now is a real opportunity to begin to eat for your health, to begin to support that microbiome, okay? Make sure you're getting fiber into your diet. That fiber helps to feed the good bacteria in the gut, and that good bacteria, as it proliferates, adds to your well-being, adds to your health, it adds to your immunity. So it is key and critical for sure. Things that you can do to improve your gut health. Well, number 1, if there are foods that you know that your body is sensitive to, then leave those foods out. This is an excellent time where you can really begin to hone in on your diet. We're not worried about going out and having to eat socially and are we going to request special meals at the restaurant? We don't have to do that right now. So you have a whole lot of control over the food that you are eating. I'll tell you, I have a ton of clients who we pull things like gluten and dairy and sugar out of their diet and their health transforms. So you can begin to do that right now. You can begin to identify, well, what are the foods that maybe don't make me feel so good? Or what would happen if I pulled dairy and gluten out of my diet? So this is an opportunity to begin to really identify what foods you might be sensitive to and eliminate them for your diet for a little while, okay? Why we don't have these social constraints that we have to worry about, unfortunately, right? So that's one thing that you can do, because food sensitivities create inflammation in our gut, and that inflammation can then, snowball into other impacts on our health. So that's number 1. Number 2 is begin to add in fermented foods. So the next time you get to the grocery store to do your shopping or you order to have it delivered, include some fermented foods. That's something like live source sauerkraut or real fermented beets or real fermented carrots. But bring in those fermented foods into your diet on a daily basis so that you can add back some of that good gut bacteria. I mean, I have to tell you, if I start feeling a little bit of sniffle or this, that, or something else, the first thing I do is reach for the sauerkraut and the sauerkraut juice, because that stuff is potent and really amazing in terms of its bacterial content in order to support your gut and to support your immunity. Okay? Making sure that you're eating enough fiber, getting in, again, those fruits and vegetables loaded with fiber is really important, again, for feeding the good bacteria in the gut and having it proliferate. Avoiding toxins is important. So this is a good time to go through your house. What is it that might be harming my health? And identify those things. Take a look at your hair care products, your skin care products, your cosmetics, your cleaners. We are all going crazy disinfecting, but we have now increased the amount of chemical cleaners that we're being exposed to. As we expose ourselves to those things, we also begin to decrease our immunity. So start to pay attention to these things and begin to make changes one step at a time. Okay, so we've got food, we've got the gut microbiome. The next thing is stress. So I've got to tell you, there is so much stress surrounding this. Stress about where finances are coming from. Stress about when this is going to be over. Fear because we don't have control. Fear because we don't know what's going to happen next. Fear for the health of our family, our friends, ourselves. So there is a lot going on in terms of fear and stress. And so I really invite you to find a practice that you love, something that you can do that will help to bring some balance and relief to the stress. That can be just mindful breathing. I used to make it a point to breathe at every traffic light I came to, but that's not enough today since we're not out and about and driving around anymore. But maybe it's every time you use the restroom. Maybe it's every time you walk into your kitchen. Find some sort of trigger and you can say, okay, I just walked into the kitchen. I'm going to stop and I'm going to take 5 deep breaths and ground yourself. Bring away some of that stress, okay? Begin exercising. If you're not exercising, exercise is one of the most powerful ways to boost your immune system, to get your lymphatic system moving, to relieve stress, and to create balance. Now, if you've never worked out before, I'm not talking about doing some crazy, insane, rigorous workout that actually depletes your immune system for a little while. But I'm talking about just getting out and getting some basic movement in, because your body will be so thankful for that. Okay. In addition to that, let's go back to what we said about improving your digestion. If we are always eating when we are in this state of stress, then we are negatively impacting our gut microbiome. So it's another reason why we should bring down our stress levels. At the very minimum, you want to be mindful of the state of your body when you eat. So I have Dr. Z's ABCDs of mindful eating. And I love these and I use them with all of my clients. And I suggest that you take them on. So let me go through my ABCs. Letter A is pay attention. So before you eat, pay attention to your food. Look at what's on your plate. Look at what you're about to eat. Pay attention to your food. Don't eat in front of the TV, in front of the computer. Be mindful of it. So A is pay attention. B is breathe. So you can easily start to bring down your cortisol levels and prepare your body for food, okay, by just taking a few simple breaths. You see, when we are really stressed out, our body's not thinking about boosting our immunity. Our body's not thinking about digestion. Our body's thinking about fight or flight. It's thinking about running, right? So all of our blood flows to our extremities versus our digestive system. So just take a couple of deep breaths to bring yourself into balance. Okay, letter C is chew. Chew, 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 chew. Chew like 30 times before you swallow. I know that's an enormous amount of time because we're not used to doing it because we inhale our food pretty much. So take the time to chew. And finally, D, okay? D is delay. So delay before you take your next bite. So just bring this mindfulness at least to your food so you bring your body into a better state so that you can digest your food, absorb those nutrients, and again, enhance your immunity. Okay, next piece that I think is important as well is your supplementation. People are walking around like trying to figure out what to do. And, I'll be honest, I'm having a hard time keeping certain things in stock. So making sure that you've got the appropriate supplementation is really important. So number one, vitamin D, if you do not have optimal vitamin D levels, if you are not outside of enjoying the sunshine, today is overcast and cloudy, but if you're not doing that, then you should be supplementing with some vitamin D, okay? That's number one. And I don't mean crazy excessive amounts because we don't want to create a problem, but you should be having at the minimum 2,000 IUs per day of vitamin D. The next one is zinc. Zinc is incredibly powerful for your immune system, and most people are depleted in their zinc. So zinc, for example, is one of the things that we have in our prevention immune bundles because it is so important. Another one that I really like is green tea extract. And not only is the green tea extract really important in terms of the antioxidant properties that it has from the AGCG, but it's also really important because of the way that it works with the viruses. So the green tea extract is another one that's on my list. Another one that's really important, and I've read some really interesting literature on it, some really interesting studies coming out, and that's melatonin. And some of the research that's coming out is looking at, melatonin and melatonin levels being one of the reasons why we're seeing older people having more of an issue with the virus and the younger people not having that same impact. So the melatonin research is quite extraordinary. So melatonin is one of those things that is something that I am recommending for clients as a preventative as well. And I got to tell you, what are people doing right now? They're staying indoors. They're underneath the artificial lights. They're in front of their computers, their tablets, their cell phones. They're not sleeping well because they're stressed. And what's happening is we're actually depleting melatonin. We are depleting the melatonin. So you want to think about supplementing with that melatonin. You want to think about tart cherry juice being a very natural way to add melatonin into your diet. You want to think about making sure that you've got, blue light protectors on your tablet and your cell phone and your computer. They're easy apps that you can download that will filter out some of that light that impacts your melatonin production. And then again, you want to make sure you keep to a consistent sleep schedule. Your circadian rhythm is very important right now. So you want to make sure that you're getting to bed. And sometimes melatonin can be helpful for people with sleep. I also find that magnesium can be very helpful for people in terms of sleep. And most people are also, deficient in magnesium. So that's another one that is high up on the list. In terms of zinc, I did forget to mention, add some sunflower seeds to your salads. You can get nice zinc right from those sunflower seeds. The other one I like to include in my daily day is a couple of Brazil nuts because they're really high in selenium. The selenium also being important to keep your immune system strong. And as I said before, those berries, for example, really high in terms of antioxidants. So you can get these things through food as well, not just through supplementation. You want to have the best of both worlds at this time and always, and then finally, I'd really like to talk about, creating a shift in the space of chaos that's been created in our world. And I invite every single one of you to consider gratitude as a pathway for helping us get through this. So I invite you every day, wake up, start creating a journal and begin to write down what is it that you are grateful for. Having a gratitude journal allows you to identify all the wonderful things in our lives that we do have. Okay, all the things that we have been given, all the things that we are truly blessed for having in our lives. It raises our vibration. It improves our health. It improves our energy. So beginning to shift out of fear and into a gratitude mindset is incredibly helpful in terms of boosting your immune system. If anybody knows the work of Bruce Lipton is a cell biologist, and he's done amazing work in terms of understanding really the energetics of the body and how there is so much more than we have even imagined, and how things like gratitude can have an impact on our health and well-being. And so I invite you to really take that on. So in closing, thank you for staying here with me and listening to this message. But in closing, I invite you to take this opportunity to really step up and think about your health, because our health is important and every action that we take can impact our health. And we have a choice as to whether that action is going to be something that empowers our health or disempowers our health. You know, you look at those who are at most risk for COVID-19, and that is people who have other comorbidities, things like diabetes, things like heart disease, okay? We don't have to suffer from these illnesses. If we begin to take action, we pay attention to the way that we take care of our bodies, what we expose our bodies to, and really important, what it is that we eat, we have the ability to create change. So we are in a world these days where people die from heart disease, diabetes, cancer. These are the top things that people die from. And yet we have so much control in terms of how we live our lives and what we eat as to whether or not those things have to impact us. And so I invite you today, yes, take on the actions to improve your immunity, to protect yourself from the virus, to protect your loved ones from the virus. But more importantly, I want to look big picture. Take these things on as lifestyle changes, as ways that you can impact and empower your health for the rest of your life, and impact and empower your health of your community. Gosh, it would be wonderful if we were adding more staff to farmers markets, right? Rather than adding more staff to Pizza Hut. But we have the opportunity right now to create that change in our society. And I invite you to step into health. Step into the understanding that your body can heal itself, that your body operates on what you provide for it. So let's create that amazing environment where we have the nutrients we need, where our body doesn't have to deal with a ton of toxicity, okay? And then we stand a chance against this virus now and forever. So with that, I thank you for your time today. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. It's Danielle, DANIELLE @southbaywellness.com. Stay safe and healthy.